Hey, it's Smoo. This video is not going to be a funny one, so if you're here looking for a funny video, probably look somewhere else. I wasn't going to talk about this. It's not really something that I like to talk about or want to talk about, but during the press release, something was said that kind of makes me want to discuss it. As some of you know, I live in Texas, and something happened a few days ago. There was a school shooting. A lot of kids were killed, and a couple teachers as well. Recently, the police chief, I believe it's the police chief, he made a statement breaking down the timeline about what happened. He talked a lot about the events and the reasons certain measures were taken and all of that. I'm not going to discuss that here. That's not why I'm making the video. I'm making the video because he made a comment whenever he was talking about the why. Let's take a look.
Okay, we know the individual was also into cyber gaming in that regard, and group gaming in that regard. So
Cyber gaming and group gaming. I've been alive for a little while. These school shootings are super common. I remember growing up and we did presentations about Columbine, right? Columbine High School. And we learned about that in class and what had happened. And it was shocking. And then we started doing active shooter drills. And then it just became more and more common for active shooters to be a thing. And it is pretty wild. As a Texan, it's mortifying. As a parent, it's mortifying. As a human, it's fucking mortifying. And to trivialize this whole thing, like, there's the gun debate, right? Oh, this may or may not have happened if the accessibility to guns was different, okay? And I understand the arguments on both sides of that equation. The fact of the matter is, our country is so saturated in guns that it's really hard to know what changes of legislation, what would change right away, and I get that. What isn't hard to know is gaming. You look at every other country, there's not a country that's got this problem of people shooting elementary school children while they're in class. Okay? But gaming is popular in every country, more or less. Every developed country, there's gamers. You get online and start gaming with people. You're talking to people from other countries. You're talking to people from France or Finland or China sometimes, Japan, depending on how your servers and everything are doing. People in Latin America, people in Africa sometimes. I meet people from all over the place. And the idea that is looked at as, it's consistently looked at as a reason why these things happen. And it really just is infuriating. It's fucking infuriating. The deflection from potential solutions always towards, well, they're gaming. These people were gamers. It's hard to find anybody under the age of 40 who's not a gamer these days, Again, that's not unique to the US. It's everywhere. So you would expect these school shooter problems to be an issue everywhere. It is super fucking terrifying. Honestly, like, I've got 2 kids, and neither of them are in school. They're both in daycare. It's terrifying. And people talk to me like I'm kind of dumb when I tell them, yeah, ultimately my goal is to be able to homeschool my kids. They're like, oh, well, I understand that, but, these things happen. I just it makes me want to homeschool my kids. And that is the plan, is to homeschool my kids for more reasons than that. The whole education system is completely borked. But whatever. I don't know. Fucking stop blaming people's problems on people's violent problems on video games. There's a whole mental health crisis, There's a stigma around seeking help for mental health. There's a stigma around your kids getting help for mental health. There's guns everywhere. Whether or not these things attribute to the problem are things that need to be discussed. I mean, and yeah, you definitely discuss the video game angle, but it's been discussed so many times that I feel like it's no longer part of the issue. You can easily look at data from other countries and say, you know what? No. I mean, most of these game companies are in Japan, right? And Japan has an astonishingly low rate of gun violence. And you can say, well, that's because of their gun laws, but I mean, that's another part of the conversation. That's all I'm saying. I really wish something would be done to prevent this from happening in the future. I have a feeling we're going to just keep seeing these headlines and hearing these press conferences. I couldn't watch this thing all the way through. I couldn't do it. It's 42 minutes, and I jumped around a lot. Also, on a second thought here, this is a live stream that I'm watching on YouTube, and a lot of these chat messages, these fucking chat replay messages, are absolutely despicable. There's people talking about how people are talking about it, calling it a false flag to take your guns away. This happened in Texas, okay? People, the government, the law enforcement officers in Texas are not trying to take your fucking guns away. That's not happening. Have you been to Texas? Additionally, people are saying that this guy here is on drugs because of the way he's acting and, licking his lips and being fidgety. This man's being grilled about the death of 21 people. He's probably stressed, I would say. I doubt that he's ever had to be under this amount of pressure before. Most people haven't heard of Uvalde, Texas before this, and I haven't, and I live in Texas. So anyway, it's just a side note that I wanted to mention. Stop being disgusting. Anyway, that's about it.